Hey guys, let's talk about hair loss. So hair loss can occur throughout the body or just on the head, but today we are just going to be focusing on hair loss on the head. So hair loss may be temporary or permanent. It may be caused by things like your medications for heart disease, arthritis, medications for depression. It may also be as a result of chemotherapy or radiation that you're receiving for a particular type of cancer. It may be hereditary in some cases. It could also be part of certain disease processes like ringworm, hypothyroidism, and systemic lupus erythematosus, lupus for short. Hair loss could also be pointing to malnutrition, specifically deficiencies in iron, zinc, and vitamin D. Or it may just be part of normal aging. That is why it is important for you to see your dermatologist or at least your general practitioner to be able to figure out why you're losing your hair. There are different patterns of hair loss. You could have thinning in front of your hair. You could have patchy bald spots distributed around your hair. You can have a sudden and complete hair loss, which is usually associated with head trauma. You can also have patchy, itchy, and oozing bald spots, which is usually associated with ringworm. So another pattern of hair loss is the male pattern baldness or androgenic alopecia. It usually has to do with hormonal imbalance. It is commoner in males. It starts from the front of the head to involve the crown of their head. I'm sure most people are familiar with what I'm talking about. While still talking about hormonal causes, of course, menopause is going to make it to the list as well. Menopause is implicated. However, I've saved the best for the last. Traction alopecia. That is what is common in females, especially women who do some complicated hairdo that has to do with adhesives, various kinds of wigs and threads and all that. So personally, I don't have anything against it. But whenever you go to your salon, please ensure that whoever is making your hair does not pull on your hair, because you're going to end up damaging your hair follicles. And when your hair follicles are damaged, it means that you cannot grow hair. I know that you people understand what I'm talking about. Usually you'd notice that the front of the hair is all gone and hair doesn't grow no matter how much product you apply, no matter how much you pamper the place. The place is bald. That patch is bald because it has sustained so many years of trauma and friction. So be very careful with the kind of braids you do. In order to avoid traction alopecia, whenever I go to make my hair, what I do is when you're getting your braids done, what you do is you pull this part of your hair where it's braided already onto yourself, and then whoever is making your hair makes continuous braiding your hair, so that way you feel that even the tension around your scalp is relieved and there's no pain. By the way, when you're making your hair, there should be no pain whatsoever. Whatever kind of hairstyle you're making, you should not feel any kind of pain. Whether it's long braids, whether it's cornrows, if there's a way that you can leave your baby hairs, the front of your hair, untouched or not included in the braids, so that you don't end up having increasing the size of your forehead. So anyways, apart from that, there are other tips to take care of your hair. If you've ruled out that you do not have traction alopecia, you don't pull or yank your hair, it's important you go to the doctor to find out why you're losing your hair, because it may be a symptom of a certain disease. And when you're cleared from your doctor and you've figured out what is causing the hair loss, there are things you can do at home to improve your hair growth and to mitigate the hair loss. So the first thing to do is get a shampoo that contains niacinamide. I'm going to make another detailed video to tell you the benefits of niacinamide for your hair and for your skin, but you can get a shampoo or hair products that contain niacinamide. Then you should also get a conditioner, a hair conditioner that contains humectants. Humectants are ingredients that attract moisture into the hair or the skin. And an example of humectants is glycerin or hyaluronic acid or honey. A good rule of thumb whenever I'm purchasing a new conditioner is I check whether there's a high fat content. And a simple way you can check that is by getting a little bit of product on any of your fingers, and then you turn it upside down. If the product is runny, it probably suggests that the conditioner does not have a high amount of fat. And whenever you're conditioning your hair, best time for you to check how much hair you're losing. Averagely, we lose about 50 to 100 hair strands. We would normally not notice it because our hair is usually braided and packed and all that. So when you're conditioning your hair, the conditioner is usually smooth and silky, so hairs that are attached, they're broken, but then attached to the ones that are not broken would be easily seen when they're leaving the hair. So that's a good time for you to estimate and see how much hair loss you have, whether it is within the normal range or you're actually experiencing hair loss. Other steps that you can take in order to reduce hair loss is by detangling your hair very gently and easily. A good practice I have learned when detangling or combing my hair over the years is starting from the roots of my hair, and then I work my way up gently to my scalp. If I feel that my hair is really tangled rather, I get a spray bottle and I spray lightly on the hair, and then I comb gently. The next thing you do want to protect your hair from is heat. use heat protectant oils, not just ordinary oils. They are heat protectant oils that protects the cuticle of your hair from heat damage. Even when you regularly straighten your hair or stretch your hair with those hot combs and tools, the heat protectant oil is going to reduce the amount of heat damage that your hair is going to incur. If it is possible for you to entirely avoid those hot tools, those hot combs and heat styling, that will be great for your hair, especially when you're already battling hair loss. So lastly, try and keep dandruff out of your hair, because dandruff has been shown to cause brittle hair. So it's not that your hair is not growing from the follicles. It grows, but then it's brittle and it breaks, you know, when it comes out of your scalp. And so hair is growing, but you're not seeing any results. How to fight it? Use a ketoconazole based shampoo. So there are so many other medications apart from ketoconazole that can treat dandruff. But while at it, it is also important to remember not to oil your scalp directly, because your scalp already produces an oil called sebum. Now this yeast, dandruff is a yeast that overgrows as a result of the production of this sebum. So try not to oil your scalp directly. You can oil your hair strands to avoid friction and breakage, but limit this hair oils to your hair strands and leave your scalp to do its job, because it already produces sebum every day. I hope that I have answered all your hair loss questions. Please consider subscribing on YouTube and following me on Instagram at Bila Amilio.